All right, we're in section 7.4, the percent equation in our textbook on page 345. All right, now, we learned earlier this week about the percent proportion. What is the percent proportion again? What is it? A over B equals P over 100. Remember when we learned how to solve proportions? How many different methods were there for solving proportions? There were 3 different methods, and any 3 of them could get you to the right answer, right? Well, the same thing goes with these equation statements. All right, I can use a proportion to solve, or I can use an equation, but either one of them is going to get me to the correct answer. You're going to notice that these statements look just like the statements in 7.2. There's nothing different about them. There's just another way to solve them. On your quiz and your test, you'll have the choice which method to solve with, so you can choose your favorite. All right, as long as you come up with the correct answer. So what was your original problem on your 7.2 homework? It was the formula, right? A over B equals P over 100. So guess what your formula is going to be on your homework tonight? A equals P percent times B. This is called the percent equation. A still represents the part, okay, part of the whole. And what's my key word for A? Is B still represents the whole. And what's my key word for B? Of. Okay, so those are the key words that I'm looking for in the following statements. Does everybody have the equation written down? A equals P percent times B. Okay, so in example 1, I'm finding a part of the base. What number is 16% of 75? So I start with what? A equals P percent times B. And now I'm going to plug in my numbers. 16%, guess what? What is that going for? Percent. Very good. 75, does that go in for A or B? B. B, because that's my of. So A equals 16% times 75. But before I can multiply my percentage, I have to first convert it to a decimal. So A equals 0.75 times, 0.16 times 75. And A would equal what?
12.
All right, go ahead and solve the second one. All right, so A equals P percent times B. A equals 89% times 110. All right, what do I do with my percentage? A equals 0.89 times 110. And what's my answer?
97.9.
Perfect. Who got it right? Okay, good. Now, just like with the proportion problems, sometimes it's solved for A, sometimes solved for B, sometimes solved for P. I'm going to do the same thing with the percent equation. In example 2, I'm just solving for a different part of the percent equation. So I'm still going to start with A equals P percent times B. And now let's read the example. It says, a car salesperson earns 6.5% commission on every car sold. The salesperson sells a car for $21,800. What is the commission? So 6.5% is clearly what part? The percentage. The question is 21,800, is that B or is it A? Think about it. Is it the total or is it the commission?
That's the total.
So you think they made $21,000 when they sold the car? No, they didn't make that much money. That's how much they sold it for. That's your B. That's your total. Now they made a percentage of that. That would be A because that's just a part of the total sale of the car. All right, so A equals 6.5% times 21,800. But what do you need to do to that percentage?
To a decimal.
What is it as a decimal? 0.065 times 21,800. So how much was his commission? It's a pretty decent commission, actually.
$1,417.
$1,417.
Yeah.
Okay, don't forget to label it with your dollar sign. So that's how much he made just for selling one car. All right, so sell 2 cars, that's pretty decent. All right, so that's example 2. All right, in example 3 now, okay, I'm finding a what? Percent. So now I'm just solving, again, for a different part of my percent equation. So what do I start with?
A equals P percent equals
Times B. Very good. Okay, so what is my A? What's my A?
60.
60. Don't know P. And 25 is my B. All right, well, I'm going to treat P percent just like any other variable. So how can I show a number times a variable? How can I show that?
Like put 1.
Okay, so how would I show x times 2? You would say 2x, right? So to show P percent times 25, I would say 25P. So instead of writing it this way, I want you to write it 25P. Okay, 25P with the number first. Now it's easier to see that what do you do to solve for P?
Divide by 25.
Divide both sides by 25. And what do you get? P equals what?
2.4.
Okay, but is that a percentage? That's a decimal. No, it's not. Okay, I need to now convert it to a percentage. So what would it be? Yes, 240%. All right, I want you to do the second problem the exact same way. All right, so A equals P percent times B. So what's your new equation? 30 equals
45P.
45P. What do you do to both sides?
Divide by 45.
What do you get?
2.3.
0.67, which is 67%. Okay, that was a repeating decimal. All right, moving on. Example 4, finding a base. Okay, so let's see what this example says. It says your friend paid how much? This amount was 72% of the total amount your friend spent at the theater. How much money did your friend spend? What are you starting with? What are you starting with?
A
equals P percent times B. Okay? So your friend paid $9 for the movie ticket. Where does $9 go?
A.
And for A, because that was not the total amount that they spent. What was my percentage? 72%. And times B, which I don't know. What do I have to do to my percentage? Turn it into a decimal. 9 equals 0.72B. What do I divide both sides by? 0.72. And what will that be? B equals?
12 and a half. 12.5.
Okay, so as a dollar, $12.50. Don't forget your pennies. Okay, $12.50. That would be your answer. So, are you guys kind of catching on to the pattern here?
Yeah.
You always start with your percent equation. Now, here's the deal. On this, on your quiz or your test, you could use a proportion to solve for this. You could say 9 over B equals 72 over 100. Do your cross products and solve. Okay, so like I said at the beginning of this lesson, with these problems, you can use either method to solve, and you'll get the right answer either way. Okay? You can use percent proportion or the equation. As long as you do it correctly, you're still going to get the right answer. All right, we're going to do 2 more problems. Okay, I want you to try both of these. Give you a few minutes, and then we'll check the answers. All right, so did you get B equals 75 for the first one? Change 120% to 1.2, divide both sides, and you get 75. Now 7.5% was 0.075, divide both sides, you get 360. Who got both of those right? Both of them right? Awesome. Okay, good. If you understand that, that's everything you need to know for 7.4.